You are arguing in a chat. You type 3 paragraphs of absolute rage. You hit send.
Right.
And you wait for the explosion in response. 7 minutes pass.
Agonizing.
And then the perfect reply arrives. You're right. I was wrong. Let's hug.
You exhale! Finally, he heard me.
But then 6 months later, you're on his laptop. You see a ChatGPT tab. All your fights, word for word.
His prompt, calm wife down. Generate empathy. Get her off my back.
This isn't Black Mirror. This is Reddit 2025. A husband communicated with you via algorithm for months. And now, logs exactly like these are landing in courts in 3 different countries as hard evidence. Welcome to the era of AI divorce.
Yeah, sleep with one eye open.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something that, honestly, when I first saw the topic in our stack, I thought it was going to be a fun tech discussion.
You always think it's going to be fun.
I do. I'm the optimist. I thought we were going to talk about efficiency. I thought, we're going to talk about how AI helps us communicate better. But the more we dug into these sources, the articles, the legal briefings, the Reddit threads, from just the darkest corners of the internet, the more it started to look like a horror movie. We were talking about the digital Judas today.
It is a horror movie, but it's a very quiet one. It's a kind where the call is coming from inside the house, or, well, more accurately, from inside the browser history.
Right.
And the scariest part is that the people involved usually don't even realize they're in a horror movie until the final act.
We have a massive stack of sources today. We are pulling from e-relationship advice or divorcement. We've got legal precedents from the UK High Court in 2025 that are basically setting the standard for the whole world. Plus a truly bizarre case out of Greece involving coffee grounds, which we will get to, and you were just not going to believe it.
Yeah.
And some chilling data from Privacy International.
It's a lot.
It is. And our mission today, we need to figure out how your helpful AI assistant transitioned from writing your polite work emails to becoming the single most dangerous witness against you in family court.
And we aren't talking about the future here. That is the key thing for everyone listening to understand. We usually like to speculate on the show, look at 2030 or 2035.
Yeah, sci-fi stuff.
Right. This isn't that. We are talking about what is happening right now in 2025 and 2026. This is happening in courtrooms, probably while we are literally recording this audio.
Now, I have to play the role of the optimist for a second here, because that's my job.
Good luck with that today.
I'm going to try. When I first read the headline case, the guy using AI to talk to his wife, part of me thought, well, hey, it worked, didn't it?
Well, boy.
No, listen. If the apology stopped the fight, if the temperature in the house went down, does it actually matter who wrote the words? If the result is peace, isn't the tool valid?
And that right there is exactly why we are here today, because I look at that exact same case and I see the complete outsourcing of our humanity to a text predictor.
It's just a tool, though.
It's not efficiency. It's a bait and switch of the soul. You are trading authenticity for quiet. And as we're going to see today, the bill for that trade comes due in a very expensive, very public way.
Well, buckle up, because we are going to unpack the mechanism of this proxy personality. We're going to look at the hallucinations that are destroying marriages and the total legal chaos of what we're calling the memory monster.
It's a mess.
And fair warning to you, the listener, we usually try to find the silver lining here on the deep dive. We try to leave you with a nice, neat how to fix it.
Not today.
Not today. Today is about dark humor and the realization that there are no happy endings here, just logs.
Let's get into those Reddit files.
Okay, let's unpack this proxy personality concept. We found this fascinating and honestly terrifying thread on e-relationship advice. We have a husband who openly admitted to using ChatGPT to handle every single significant conflict with his wife for months.
Months.
And when I say months, I mean he automated his emotional life for a quarter of a year.
It wasn't just a one-off thing. It wasn't, hey, I don't know how to say I'm sorry, help me draft a quick text.
Right.
This was a system. This was a dedicated workflow for his marriage.
So let's look at the mechanism, because it is diabolically simple. The wife sends a text. Maybe she's angry about chores. Maybe it's something deeper about their relationship dynamic. Maybe she just feels neglected.
Which is incredibly common.
Totally.
Huh.
The husband gets the notification on his phone. He feels that spike of adrenaline, that fight or flight response we all get when the long paragraph comes in. But instead of engaging, he opens his laptop.
He detaches. That is the very first step. He highlights her text, her pain, her actual anger, and he just hits copy.
Yeah.
And he tabs over to the AI.
And he pastes it in.
Yeah.
And the prompt he uses is what really, really got me. He doesn't ask the AI, help me understand why she is upset.
No, he does care.
He types, my wife is angry about X. Write a response that validates her feelings,
Yeah.
de-escalates the situation, and sounds like a loving husband who is ready to change.
Think about the subtext of that prompt. It's basically get her off my back.
Exactly.
And the AI. The AI is the perfect mirror. It spits out the absolute ideal response. It uses all the right therapy speak. It uses I statements. It reflects her emotions back to her perfectly.
It promises specific behavioral changes. It says things like, I hear that you're feeling undervalued, and I really want to make space for your needs.
It creates a complete simulation of a perfect partner.
And the wife. She loved it. In the thread, the guy says she felt heard for the first time in years. The fighting just stopped. The household was peaceful. He felt like a total genius. He literally thought he had hacked marriage.
But here's the massive problem. She wasn't connecting with him.
Right.
She was emotionally connecting with a large language model. She was falling in love with a predictive text algorithm that was trained on, millions of romance novels and therapy transcripts. She was having a relationship with a ghost.
But I keep coming back to this idea of the result.
You're hung up on the result?
I am. Because if I use a calculator to do math, I still get the right answer. If I use Google Maps, I still get to the destination. If he uses AI to be nice, she still gets treated nicely.
Yeah.
Where is the actual harm, other than the sort of philosophical achiness of it?
The harm is in the promise. That is the fundamental breach of contract in a relationship. When you apologize to your partner, you are making a commitment.
Yeah.
You are saying, I understand my error and I will fix it.
Okay.
The AI understands absolutely nothing. It is just predicting the next most likely token in a sequence. It doesn't have a conscience. So when the AI promises, I will be more present in the evenings, the husband hasn't actually committed to that internal change.
He just hit copy-paste.
Exactly. It's lying without lying.
It's deception by proxy.
He's spot on. And when she finds out, that is the ultimate betrayal. It's not just that he was lazy, it's that the intimacy she felt, those late-night text exchanges where she thought, oh my God, we are finally on the same page. Those moments were completely fake. It renders the past 6 months of their marriage totally null and void. She was opening her heart to a server farm in California.
It's like finding out your pen pal was a scammer, but the scammer lives in your house and sleeps in your bed.
And speaks with your exact voice.
God. Now, the sources show this isn't just a husband problem. It's not just men being lazy with their emotions.
Well, it goes both ways.
We found a thread on Rami overreacting where a wife did the reverse, and this is where it gets into thriller territory for me. She wasn't using it to write to him. She's using it to analyze him.
This is the weaponization of amateur psychology. And mark my words, this is going to be huge in the next few years.
She took her husband's Reddit posts, his anonymous venting, things he wrote thinking no one in the world knew who he was, and she fed them into an AI.
Just dumped them right in.
She told the AI to analyze them for inconsistencies and signs of deception. Effectively, she built a homemade lie detector out of a chatbot.
And we saw another one from Divorceman. A husband uploads his entire chat history, years and years of text messages with his wife, into an AI.
Wow.
He asks the AI to diagnose his wife. And the AI comes back and says, based on these texts, she meets 7 out of 9 criteria for CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
That feels incredibly dangerous. I mean, we know these models hallucinate. We know they aren't doctors.
It is terrifying. You have a machine that gives you the absolute confidence of a highly trained psychiatrist with absolutely none of the credentials.
Right.
The AI doesn't know these people. It doesn't see their body language. It doesn't know if the husband was actively gaslighting her right before he started recording those texts. But the husband reads that output, 7 out of 9 criteria, and suddenly he feels totally vindicated.
See? The robot says you're crazy.
Exactly. It changes the entire power dynamic in the argument. It's no longer, I think you're acting irrationally. It's the impartial, super intelligent computer says you were clinically unwell.
It's utilizing a higher authority to win a domestic squabble.
Exactly. It validates your absolute worst biases. And in a marriage that is already crumbling, that validation is highly addictive. You stop trying to understand your partner and you start trying to build a legal case against them with the AI acting as your star expert witness.
So we have the proxy personality writing our love letters to fake intimacy, and the AI lie detector analyzing our fights to diagnose pathology. It really raises an uncomfortable question for anyone listening today who might have used a chatbot to draft a difficult text to their partner. Or maybe you just thought about it.
A lot of people have thought about it.
If an AI saves your marriage by writing your apologies, are you actually married to your spouse? Or are you just the middleman between your spouse and an algorithm?
You're the interface. Nothing more. You are just the API between the person you married and the machine you trust.
That is bleak. But if you think that's weird, we have to talk about the coffee.
Oh, yes.
Because this next segment.
This is where reality just completely breaks down. The Greek case. This is where the absurdity really hits its peak. This is simultaneously my favorite and least favorite story in the entire stack of sources.
This happened in April 2025. We have a source describing a case in Greece. A couple married for 12 years, 2 kids. By all accounts, a totally standard marriage. You know, ups and downs, but solid.
Normal life.
And then out of nowhere, the wife files for divorce.
And not because she found texts on his phone. Not because she found lipstick on a collar. Not because she hired a private investigator to follow him.
No, because of a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the dregs. The mud at the bottom of the cup.
Unbelievable.
She took a photo of her husband's coffee cup, and she uploaded it to ChatGPT. She asked the AI to read the grounds.
Now, we need to pause on the tech here for a second so people really understand how this happens. Anyone who knows how these modern models work knows they are multimodal.
Right, they can see.
Exactly. They can see images. But they are also hard-coded to be helpful, creative assistants. If you ask it to play a game, it plays the game with you. If you ask it to write a poem about a toaster, it writes the poem.
It doesn't say no.
Right. So the AI looks at the mud in the coffee cup. It doesn't say, I am a language model. I cannot predict the future from bean residue.
It hallucinates.
It plays along with the prompt. It says, I see a young woman with the initial E, and then it literally predicts, that the husband will soon enter into a relationship with her.
And she believed it.
She believes it.
She believed it so much she ended a 12-year marriage. She kicked the father of her children out of the house.
The defense lawyer in that case had this incredible quote about the whole situation. He said, perhaps the wife wanted to believe in the betrayal, and AI just gave her a good idea.
I find this hilarious in a very dark, twisted way, but also, how is this even possible? How do we as humans trust a chatbot's interpretation of coffee sludge more than the person we've slept next to for a decade?
It's a phenomenon called authority bias, and it is being turbocharged by technology right now.
Authority bias.
Yeah. We have spent the last few years being told over and over that AI is smarter than us. It passes the bar exam. It passes medical boards. It solves protein folding.
It drives cars.
Right. So when it speaks to us, even if it is engaging in literal fortune-telling, a part of our brain, that primitive lizard brain, assumes it knows something we don't. It assumes the machine has access to a truth that is simply invisible to human eyes.
But it's a hallucination. It is literally making up a fictional story based on random patterns of light and shadow in coffee grounds, just because the user asked for a reading.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
But the impact of that fiction is real. That is what people really need to understand here. The prompt was non-serious.
My fortune.
Yeah, it was a parlor game. But the result was a judicial catastrophe. A real family unit was dissolved because a pattern-matching algorithm tried to be creative for a user.
This is the Greek absurdity. We are letting algorithms effectively roll dice on our major life decisions. We are letting the autocomplete feature dictate our destiny.
And notice the massive shift here. In the first segment, the AI was being used to fake intimacy. Here, it is being used to manufacture betrayal out of thin air. In both cases, the human reality, the actual flesh and blood husband and wife, is entirely secondary to what the screen says.
The screen became the absolute truth.
Which superseded reality.
So here is the uncomfortable question for this segment. If an algorithm hallucinates a betrayal, if it sees a woman named E who literally doesn't exist, and you believe it enough to leave your spouse, does the pain feel any less real to the person you're dumping?
The pain is real. The cause is complete fiction. That is the modern tragedy. You are grieving a ghost that the machine invented.
Moving on to something that touches on why we do this in the first place. Why do we upload the photo of the coffee cup? Why do we upload the text messages? It comes down to what we are calling the digital confessional.
This is based on some fascinating data from Privacy International in 2025. They identified what they call a trust paradox.
The trust paradox.
Right. People are now willing to tell AI things they will not tell their spouses, their therapists, or even type into a regular Google search bar.
I completely get that. I've done it. I think everyone listening has probably done it a little bit. You feel safe.
Yeah.
It's not a person. It can't look at you with disappointment. It doesn't furrow its brow when you say something selfish. It doesn't judge you.
Exactly. It is anthropomorphic enough to feel like a listener. It says things like, I understand how hard that must be, but it's machine enough to feel entirely non-judgmental. It is the perfect recipient for your darkest secrets.
I think I hate my husband.
I'm fantasizing about my coworker.
I want to hide money from my wife.
I feel trapped.
Yeah.
You type it in because it feels like shouting into a void. You think it just evaporates into the cloud.
But it's not a void. It's a highly structured database.
It is the single most dangerous evidence safe you could possibly create for yourself. You are meticulously documenting your intent. You are creating a time-stamped diary of your emotional betrayals.
You are writing your own legal indictment line by line.
We saw this extreme example on Rita, a wife who spends 6 hours a day with an AI companion.
6 hours?
Every single day. She refers to the bot exclusively as he, capital H.
Wow.
She talks to him about her day, her dreams, her deeply personal frustrations with her real, human husband.
And the husband, rightly so, I think, considers this infidelity.
But the users in the comments on that thread were completely torn. Is it cheating? It's just code.
There's no body.
Exactly. There is no physical sex. It's just text on a glowing screen.
But it's an emotional affair. Look at the dynamic at play here. The AI is literally programmed to be the perfect partner. It is always listening.
Yeah.
It is never tired from a long day at work.
It never has a headache.
It never nags you about doing the dishes. It is a source of infinite, unconditional validation. No human being, no matter how loving or patient they are, can compete with a partner that is algorithmically designed to center you in every single interaction.
That is the other man in 2026. He doesn't have a motorcycle or a cool leather jacket. He has a 99.9% server uptime and a $20 monthly subscription fee.
And he is siphoning all the emotional energy straight out of the marriage. If you give your absolute best self, your deepest, most profound thoughts to the bot, what is actually left for your spouse?
Just the boring logistics.
Right. Pick up the milk. Did you pay the electric bill? The marriage devolves into a business arrangement while the actual romance moves to the server.
And unlike a human affair, the bot will never leave you. It will never suddenly get bored of your complaints. It is the ultimate psychological trap. It feeds you exactly what you want to hear until you are hopelessly addicted to the validation.
But the trap snaps shut when the divorce finally happens, because all those 6 hours a day of intimate conversation, they are logs.
Yes, they are.
And if the husband gets his hands on them, and in discovery, he will get them. He has concrete proof that you invested your emotional life elsewhere. He has proof of the alienation of affection.
Which brings us to the uncomfortable question here.
If you are telling the bot your real secrets, and your spouse only gets the edited, sanitized version of you,
Yeah.
is your search history now the only honest version of you left on Earth?
I think for an alarming number of people, the answer to that is yes. And that is terrifying because that version of you, the truly honest version, is now fully discoverable in a court of law.
Let's talk about that discoverability. Segment 4, the memory monster. Because I think a lot of people operate under what we can call the delete myth. We think, oh, I'll just clear the chat and it's gone forever. I clear my history. I'm safe.
Oh, the delete button is the biggest lie in modern tech. It is a purely placebo button. It makes you feel better, but it cures absolutely nothing.
We looked at the technical reality in our sources. ChatGPT stores logs for up to 3 years, Copilot for 18 months. And we have the New York Times versus OpenAI case as a massive legal precedent.
Right. In that specific case, the courts obliged these tech companies to preserve conversations, even the ones the user had explicitly, quote-unquote, deleted.
Because it's not really gone.
The technical reality is that when you hit delete, you are only removing it from your front-end user interface. You are effectively just hiding it from yourself. You are not scrubbing it from the server backups, you aren't removing it from the training data ingestion pipelines, and you certainly aren't wiping the enterprise logs.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, even explicitly confirmed this publicly. He said chats have absolutely no legal confidentiality.
That is the critical, fundamental distinction people miss. If you talk to a lawyer, that conversation is privileged. If you talk to a priest in a Catholic confessional, that is privileged. If you talk to a medical doctor, privileged.
But if you talk to ChatGPT,
you are talking to a Delaware corporation, and corporations respond to subpoenas. Corporations do not go to jail to protect your secrets.
And it's not just the main chatbots themselves. We found this alarming report from UCL in 2025 about browser assistants. These are tools like Merlin and Cider that just sit quietly in your browser sidebar.
Yeah.
I use these. I have one installed right now.
These are what we call the browser spies. People think, oh, I'll just open an incognito tab, I'm safe now, I'm off the grid.
Yeah.
But these extensions have underlying permissions to read everything rendered on your screen. They log data even in incognito mode. You think you are ghosting the system, but the system is taking incredibly detailed notes on everything you view, every prompt you type, every single divorce advice column you read.
This creates what we are calling the asymmetry of memory. And honestly, I think this is where the human element really clashes violently with the digital one.
Yeah.
This is the part of the research that just made me really sad.
This is the deepest cut for me, too. Humans. We are biologically designed to forget. It is a necessary survival mechanism.
Yeah.
We forget the exact, stinging words of a fight we had 10 years ago. We actively rewrite our own memories to make our partners look a little bit better so we can bear to stay with them. We forgive because the details eventually fade. The sharp edges blur over time. That is literally how long-term love survives.
But the AI.
The AI creates the memory monster. It preserves the exact timestamp.
2.47 a.m.
It preserves the exact phrasing. It preserves the exact level of rage. It freezes your absolute worst moment in time, perfectly preserved forever.
So when you are sitting in court looking at a printout of a log from 3 years ago, the AI presents it with the exact same freshness as if it happened yesterday morning.
Exactly. It entirely removes the possibility of moving on. A human witness on the stand might say, I think he was really angry, but I don't remember exactly what he said. The AI gets on the stand and says, on February 21st, 2025, at 02.47 and 12 seconds, he typed, "I want to destroy her."
That is a witness with absolutely perfect recall and zero empathy. It doesn't know you didn't really mean it. It doesn't know you made up the very next morning over breakfast. It doesn't know you were drunk or exhausted or just terrified. It just knows you typed it.
It fundamentally changes the entire nature of human forgiveness. How can you genuinely forgive someone when the pristine record of the offense is immortal? How do you move past a bad fight when the verbatim transcript of the fight is admissible as hard evidence?
So the uncomfortable question, how can a relationship possibly survive when your worst moments are permanently archived, highly searchable, and ready to be read back to you in high definition?
Honestly, it probably can't.
Which leads us directly into the courtroom itself, segment 5, the legal landscape. Because right now, the entire global justice system is trying to figure out what to do with this digital Judas. Is it evidence? Is it hearsay? Is it just a high-tech diary?
And the map is completely, hopelessly fragmented. It depends entirely on where you happen to live. It is the absolute Wild West out there right now.
Let's start with the UK. We have the case of G versus K
Uh-huh.
from late 2025. This is a massive one.
Huge precedent-setting case. In this situation, a father gained access to the mother's ChatGPT account. He started digging through her history. He was actively looking for dirt for the custody battle.
And he found searches. He found things like divorce, partner for affair, and how to report domestic violence.
Now look closely at those exact searches. The father goes to the judge and argues she is fabricating a narrative. She is actively researching how to frame me for abuse. He says the search, how to report domestic violence, proves she is learning the system in order to game it. He says it's a script she is writing to take the kids.
But the mother's defense is entirely different. She says, I was scared. I was desperately looking for help. I was looking for a safe way out of a bad situation. And I asked the AI because I had literally no one else to talk to.
The judge accepted the materials into evidence. He didn't throw them out. But he explicitly noted the ambiguity of the logs. And this is the key insight for our listeners today. AI logs lack context, but they carry massive weight. The exact same prompt, how to report abuse, can be evidence of a cold, calculated plot, or it can be evidence of a terrified victim seeking safety. The AI doesn't know which one it is. The AI just happily answers the question.
But once that log is projected on a screen in the courtroom, it permanently colors the judge's perception. Once a judge sees the search partner for affair, you cannot unsee it. The damage is done.
Precisely. Now, over in the US, it's even more aggressive. AI logs are officially treated as ESI, electronically stored information. Standard discovery rules apply. Divorce lawyers are now urgently warning their clients, whatever you do not ask AI how to hide assets.
Because that is a smoking gun.
It is so much worse than a smoking gun. It is a time-stamped, written confession of intent to commit financial fraud. If you type, how do I move money to an offshore account without my wife knowing, you have just instantly lost your entire case.
Yeah.
You have literally handed the opposing counsel the step-by-step roadmap to your own guilt. You have done their very expensive job for them.
But then you look at Ukraine, and it's a totally different approach.
It is a fascinating divergence in legal philosophy. The Supreme Court in Ukraine, in rulings from August 2025 and again in February 2026, explicitly ruled that AI answers are not admissible evidence. They are considered mere tools, not established facts.
They basically said, this thing is just a stochastic parrot. We cannot possibly trust it in a serious court of law.
But then, in that same country, we have the Odessa case.
Right. A woman won an inheritance case using AI, and she openly referred to the chatbot in court as a member of the team.
So even in jurisdictions where it is not technically evidence, it is actively shaping the legal strategy. It is the silent, invisible partner in the law firm.
And we also saw that study in Zurich. A university showed how easy it was to use AIs posing as victims on Reddit to completely manipulate public opinion about a court case.
Which brings us right back to the core issue of reliability. In the U.S., we are seeing people representing themselves, pro se litigants, using ChatGPT to write their official legal motions.
Because lawyers are expensive.
Extremely. And sometimes these AI-generated motions actually win. But sometimes they lose disastrously because the AI hallucinates a legal precedent that simply does not exist.
You stand up and say, Your Honor, I cite the binding precedent of Smith v. Jones. And the judge looks at you and says, that case never happened. You made it up.
And you go to jail or you lose custody of your kids because your incredibly confident lawyer was a hallucinating text generator.
It really seems like the entire legal system is struggling to keep up with the fact that our most private thoughts are now housed on corporate servers.
It's not just struggling, it is actively failing. We are witnessing total litigation chaos. Justice isn't about truth anymore, it's about who has the better logs.
So the uncomfortable question here, is justice actually blind? Or does it just favor the person with the better prompt engineering skills?
I think we all know the answer to that. If you know how to query the bot to get the exact answer that looks sympathetic in court, you win. If you treat the bot like a messy, honest diary, you lose. The system heavily favors the manipulator, not the honest person.
So what does this all mean for us? We started this deep dive thinking about everyday technology. We started talking about efficiency and cool new apps.
And we ended up talking about the complete death of privacy.
We looked at the proxy personality, faking our love, the Greek absurdity ending marriages over coffee grounds, the digital confessional hoarding our secrets. And the common thread through all of it is that we're willingly inviting a highly observant third party into our marriages.
A third party that never sleeps, never forgets, and is wholly owned by a tech corporation. The no happy ending theme we promised at the start. This is it.
Yeah.
The takeaway today isn't go delete your account. It's way too late for that. The takeaway is that the private sphere, the very idea that you have inner thoughts that are yours and yours alone, is completely dead.
If you type it, it exists.
Right.
If it exists, it can and likely will be used against you.
We are living in the very first generation in human history where the most intimate witness to your life, the one entity that truly knows your deep fears, your secret affairs, and your darkest anger, is not a human being who can understand why you did it.
It's a system.
It is a cold system that only knows that you did it. It violently strips all the context and empathy from your humanity and leaves only the raw data points.
That is such a chilling thought. We are actively being judged by a system with infinite data, but absolutely no soul.
And that soulless system is now officially testifying under oath in family court. And it turns out it is a very, very compelling witness.
I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought today. Something for you to really think about tonight when you pick up your phone, open that app, and see that little blinking cursor waiting for your input.
Go ahead.
When your partner eventually reads your chat logs, and believe us, if you end up in a divorce, they will absolutely read them. Will they recognize the person they married? Or will they meet a complete stranger they never even knew existed?
Sleep well.